No. Yeah, we'll just continue. Go ahead.
I was going to say, why do you think it's not worth? Because when Partey came, I occasionally go on to AFM TV because I love hearing the comments with Bobby and that. And the excitement with Partey was like, oh my God, he's going to be the final piece or a piece that's going to push them, drive them forward. And in driving you forward last season, he had nothing to do with it, really. Why do you think it's failed with him? Is it over expectation?
It's a weird one, and it's not all his fault. But like, I'll put it this way: I'll say this. First of all, I think he's an excellent football player. There's no question. I don't see anyone that says he's a bad football player. He's an excellent. He's good on the ball, good touch. Maybe he could score a touch more goals, but apart from that, he's an excellent football player. His issues came from injury, and it came from over expectation from the fans. And it's not our fault. You know what I'm saying? It is partly our fault, and it's partly his fault as well. Obviously, you buy a 29-year-old defensive midfielder from one of the best defensive teams, Atletico Madrid, we watched him shut down Liverpool in that game. Yeah. And the first thing that comes to their head when we sign him is, oh, he's a leader. Like, look at the way he marshaled that game against Atletico Madrid. So we brought him in thinking, this guy's a captain. You know what I mean? He's gonna lead us forward. He's gonna play well. He's gonna whatever. And a lot of it was flattering to deceive. So the first season, he wasn't great when he played, and he was always injured. And then when he finally did play, even last season, we learned, oh, he's not actually a leader in this team. He's not the one that people really listen to. He's experienced, but he's not a captain. So what happens is, a lot of the time, the captain, one of the biggest staples for me for a captain is consistency. A captain, like you said about Henderson, Milner, these sort of players will play 7 out of 10 every game. They don't drop to 5s most of the time. They don't drop to 4s. Roy Keane, Vieira, Terry, they're always consistent 7s. So when times got hot for Partey, he was another one. As you saw at the back end of last season, he starts to disappear. His touch starts going bad. He starts missing tackles. He starts whatever. So that was the biggest issue. We put an expectation on him that he wasn't that player. We put him as an expectation of he's a consistent 7 that's a leader / captain. And really what he is an amazing player that performs when everybody else is performing, to be honest. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what I think was the biggest issue with Partey. If he had went to Manchester City, he would have been excellent. You know what I mean? It would have been excellent. Just, Liverpool and the great teams that Liverpool had, he would have been excellent. But there's no time where he's ever a captain. Like, he's not a captain. I don't look at him as a captain material. And in our midfield, he was our best midfielder. And normally your best centre midfielder tends to be a captain. That's what I think, yeah. What do you think?
Your best midfielder last season was Xhaka.
Yeah, Xhaka was excellent.
And you're letting him go. Wouldn't it make more sense to keep him and let Partey go?
No. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why we should let Partey go, but
I'm saying, when I heard he's going, I thought on the back of his arguably his best season at Arsenal, possibly a fighter. And if you're going to get 5, you think Rice, Odegaard, and Xhaka on the back of last season?
I would have kept both of them in it, but Xhaka. So with Xhaka, he wanted to go. Like, part of it. Did you hear? So he's 31 right now, and he's going to get a 5-year contract at Bayer Leverkusen. 5 years. You know what I mean? At 31 years old, like, you know what I mean, on 100 and something thousand, of course he's going. Plus, things about his wife. He came from Germany. He wanted to go back. So, and his contract runs out next season. So we could have kept him, but they're offering us 20 mil, and we would have lost that one for free. And Arsenal are business. So that's the part of the reason. And I don't think he would have transitioned well to wanting to be on the bench, because Arteta has got in his head that Kai Havertz is a first team number 8. So Xhaka would have been transformed to a bench player. So from Xhaka's point of view, it made no sense for him to want to stay, Yeah. And maybe he might not perform like this. Like, we've never seen Xhaka perform at this level. This could have been a one and done, Like, I don't know,
So you're happy with Kai Havertz? You're happy with Kai Havertz?
What kind of crazy question is that? Of course I'm not happy. I'm unhappy. I don't want him. I've never wanted him anywhere near the club. I've watched him at Chelsea. Podfather, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, Podfather, you're the best person to ask.
Yeah, of course.
Kai Havertz going to Arsenal. Good.
Yes.
Bad.
He's happy. You sold him.
Will Arteta bring out something that the previous Chelsea managers, all of them, all 3 or 4 of them, couldn't?
Lampard.
I think so, because we had too many holes in our team to get the best out of him. We never had a striker. The striker we had came in, he had issues with the manager. After half a season, pretty much gave up Lukaku, pretty much. Before that, there was Giroud, who didn't fit the system. Last year, we didn't have a striker at all. Then the manager goes, and he has 3 different managers. Two managers that came after, with Graham Potter and Frank Lampard. Graham Potter let himself down. I think Graham Potter
Who's that?
Frank Lampard, who came in, who was like tactically clueless towards the end. The club was on like a death spiral. I mean, there's so many things going on, but all you have to look at his Germany form, his Germany numbers. he still manages to play well there.
What's his best position?
Score goals.
Yeah, what is his best position? Podfather, you're the perfect one. Who's his best position?
Yeah, I think his best position is team dependent. Yeah,
okay.
like
Arsenal then.
For Arsenal, yeah, I'd say as an 8.
Okay.
I say as an 8. I say like almost like the way you always have to give him freedom, like the way like a Gundogan would play when he plays advanced.
Can he tackle? Can he tackle?
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's a hard worker. He's not. If you look at ground covered, he looks languid. He has that sort of like, I don't really care. I'm not really trying style or whatever. But the numbers say otherwise. Number says he works hard. Says he covers the ground. He's tactically. You give him an instruction to carry out. He's very good. He's very good at link play.
Yeah, because I thought about this. I told you this, Podfather. I've watched a lot of managers come in and out while he's there, but none of them benched him. So that has to say something. None of them benched him. They all could have. Like Tuchel could have benched him, Lampard could have benched him, Potter could have benched him. Yeah. All of them kept him, whether Mason Mount or Aubameyang or other players got benched, Kovacic, but he never got benched. He was one of the consistent players.
Listen, I think a lot of attacking players at Chelsea suffered because, one, we haven't had like a really out-and-out attacking manager for a minute. Like, even as good as he was, he wasn't attacking. It was more about managing games and controlling games. Like that's why we rarely gave up chances. We were very good defensively, but it wasn't like full-on attack. It wasn't like Man City or Liverpool in their pomp, or even like you guys last season or whatever. It was very controlled. I want to actually go to this. Stuff like that.
I want to go to this thing because Podfather is going to have to go in a minute, but I want to go to a really based, really strong take that me and Podfather have been talking about since last week. I'm going to say it, and then Podfather will expand. So Podfather, listen to all the fans that are watching, everyone of your team. Podfather believes the best way for Arsenal to win the league is for them to go out there, sack Arteta. They should have sacked him at the start of the summer. I'm not saying he's wrong. They should have sacked Arteta at the start of the summer and gone for a big man like Zidane. I'll let you expand.
Yeah, for me, what I said was if you're the chairman and you're looking at available managers out there, you're looking at Spalletti, who just won the league in Serie A. Zidane is available. You're about to make a 250 million, 260 million investment or 300 million in your playing squad. Yeah, I mean, is this the time to say, you know what, as a thanks, you got us to where you're going us to, but the fact is, you haven't won a league, you haven't won a major trophy in terms of either league or Champions League in your career. There's a guy out there who's won 3 Champions Leagues, a league, one of the greatest players we've ever
2
seen.
leagues.
Walks in, commands instant. 2 leagues, walks in, commands instant respect. Currently, probably one of the greatest Champions League managers of all time. His network in terms of players he'd be able to attract, all that. What he brings to the table, and just the signal it sends to the rest of the league that we're 100% serious, and the pressure is on. No manager's going to come in and take time, but manager's going to come in and have the pressure on him straight away to deliver. Yeah, next year or 2, we're gonna back you money wise, because why else would he come if he's not going to get the funds to back him to win the league and to really go after Klopp and thing. Now my thing is, Arteta might be able to do it, but if we're just being honest, and we're not. It'll be unfair to sack him because he's kind of like deserved to keep his position after the improvement he's made from year to year. But in the cold, harsh day, I remember my chairman coming in, sacking Ranieri after we came second, got to Champions League semi-final, beating the Invincibles, highest finish in our history. Nah, no thank you. Boom. There's a guy called Mourinho who just won the Champions League with Porto. He comes in, completely transforms the club, dominate England for the next 2 years, smash the points barrier, no sentiment. And when we did sack Ranieri, it was all in the papers. Oh, it's unfair, it's harsh. How can you just sack him?
So let me ask you.
It turned out to be the right decision.
Before we go to Uncle Steve about that take, just to ask, are you basing it based on this summer, this season? So let's say Arteta won the league, would you have still sacked him? That no, it's based on him.
No, I wouldn't sack him because then he's achieved your goal. But at this point, it's more about you
going forward
just before you're about to do that big investment. Yeah, it's like, okay, do we want to make this final push with this manager, or we want to slightly, even if it's 10% or 20%, maybe improve our chances by getting somebody who's actually.
And let me ask you before you have to go obviously. Let me ask you. Do you think that with these? So would you have still, as the chair, if you wanted Declan Rice, Edu was still in, would you have still gone for the players Arsenal are gone for, or do you give Zidane control? You say, no, listen, Zidane, who do you want?
I think you have to give him control to a certain extent. I think one or two players you can still bring in their club targets, and you worked on them for a couple of years. Yeah. You know, that's what your director of football or your overall club strategy comes in. But I think you do have to back him into his players. If he wants to get a whole bunch of French players, allow him. You want to get a bunch of Spanish players or Real Madrid players that he's played with before, whatever. Allow him, because if not, he'll always have that excuse of, well, they weren't my players. They didn't give me the tools I wanted, and that's why I didn't win. So you have to back him to a certain extent, yeah.
What do you think about that, Uncle Steve? What do you think about them going out there? Does that show intent for you? Like, for instance, if Liverpool had done something similar at the end of this season, they said, you know what, we're going to spend big money. Klopp is not doing it anymore. We haven't won the league.
Just imagine after you guys finished second with Liverpool, they sacked Brendan Rodgers and Brian Klopp that season. No hanging about, no wasting time. Like, thank you, Brendan. That was good, but you flopped at the end of the season. Yeah, you choked. Bye. Bring in Klopp. Yeah, people would have gone crazy, but at the end of the day, I still think it would have eventually proved the right decision. Instead, they waited a year later, finished sixth, and then we know what happened.
As a Liverpool guy with the longest reigning top six manager at the moment, I think longest reigning manager. What do you think about the ruthless role? Do you think that is something that you would employ at Liverpool, or do you think that your current transfer structure and that you guys aren't crazy spenders, well, apart from like last season, that you think you would stay with Klopp? Or would you ever do that? Would you ever look at a manager and think this guy is currently the better manager, sack Klopp, bring in the next one?
Well, yes and no. Yes, you would. At the moment, you're looking around and Klopp's probably one of the top 5 managers.
Yeah.
So if there's no one else better, you wouldn't go. But you look at Arteta and you think, to a degree, I agree. To a degree, if it's unfair to sack him, but you look and think, with Arsenal's position now, this is the strongest they've been in the Premier League since
we won the league, probably.
15 years. And you think to yourself, well, is there anyone better than Arteta? Yeah, you could read off 2, 3 names. So the question would ask, well, then do we give him this money? And hey, so now, for example, Arteta, he's got to win the Premier League or again push City close all the way. Because if he slips back, you're gonna think, well, that almost shows it's the manager, not the players, that can take you forward. And you think to yourself, it's a risk. But on the other hand, you're thinking, if the board loosely spoke to Zidane, he said, I'm interested. Personally, if I'm a board, I'm going to say, with the team who just finished second, they're going to go in Champions League, the expectations are high. You want a manager who's been there, done that. I want to get close to the City. Actually, not even just close up, pip them now. I want to go in the Champions League far. I want a trophy. I would argue there's a strong case to say, if Zidane was interested, but only if he was interested. See, Klopp was interested. Klopp was interested. Klopp was on a sabbatical. When they said to him, look, Liverpool are interested, are you interested? When he said, I would only come out of sabbatical for one club, Liverpool, it was a done deal.
He grabbed
So if they approached, put a feeler out, and Zidane said, I could be interested, I'll take him.
Listen, there's no guarantee in football, and there will be a lot of pushback and a lot of criticism for the club. If they sacked him, English media are like they hate anytime any manager is sacked.
I think when Podfather brought this to me, I was like, what? Are you crazy? And I have my reasons. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, you've watched Arteta grow slowly. He won the FA Cup. And then you grow a fondness, isn't it? And a part of you is like, okay, we buckled last season. But, giving me... Because for me, I don't know how other Arsenal fans look at it. But for me personally, this is Arteta's last season. And when I say this is his last season, I'm not saying that he will get sacked or anything like that. But this is my last Arteta in season, he needs to achieve something this season. And when I say something, I don't just think he needs to win the FA Cup or whatever. I'd like the FA Cup and the League Cup twice. Maybe he'll get away with that. A real challenge and deep in the Champions League.
I think he's got to come away with one of the big two.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to come with.
This will be his 5th year, and the money he spent. You got to remember the
money. He spent big money. Yeah, he spent big money.
He's going to spend 200 million plus.
But the reason I'm looking at keeping him in is because he's just seeing him quite ruthless this summer. He's going crazy about spending money. He's getting rid of players that I don't think he particularly would have been desperate to get rid of if he wasn't under this pressure. Putting Eddie up for sale, even though he's always like Eddie and Ketia. He's always like those hard workers. Do you know what I mean? Getting rid of like Xhaka, even though he said he wanted to keep him last year. So it seems like he's being pretty ruthless. But there is a part of me that is like, you know what, Zidane, like when it comes to those sort of top managers, how long would I be upset for? Now, the only issue I have with hiring a top manager is like you said, it's not just about if Zidane interested, and you need to speak to him and you need to hear him say, I think I can win something this year. Because if he comes in and he says, you know what, I don't really like these players, I need a couple of years, then there's no point. You know, and there's real no point. Yeah. But if he comes in and says, these group of kids, they're all right. Let me spend a couple 300 million and I'll what's it called? Let me spend 300 million and then what's it called? And then Bob, are you out?
Yeah, man. So I need to bounce. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
but,
no
Steve, it's been amazing, man. You need to come on more.
I will do, man. I will do.
It's been a real pleasure speaking football with you, and hopefully see you guys soon. And but one last point before I go, you're also bringing him in for the Champions League, which he's won 3 times. It's not just the league, but there's a big possibility you might do something in the Champions League this year. Get to a final, get to a semi-final, win it. You want a manager who's actually played in it. Arteta's never managed in the Champions League.
Oh wait,
has no record in the Champions League.
So before you go, Papa, just to mention, so that's why, just point out there, that's why Chelsea didn't get Zidane, because they're not in the Champions League. See you later, Pod Father. Later. Yeah, so there's a part of me that wanted to there's a part of me that wanted to obviously keep Arteta because he seems ruthless, but at the same time, you have to look at it from an Arsenal point of view and think, you know what, maybe we could just push it a bit further. But again, if Zidane comes in and says, I think I can win with these lads, if you give me some extra money, then fine. But what I don't want, the biggest fear is hiring Zidane is so similar to hiring Conte or Mourinho at Tottenham. I think Zidane's game is they come in and then first of all, you have to pay them ridiculous wages. They start complaining the moment they get in. Oh, these players aren't good enough. Oh, I need more money. Oh, whatever. And then you've almost if you look at Tottenham now, Tottenham are worse off than probably when Poch first left because Mourinho's moved the squad around. They don't play the same way. They're worse to watch. So now they've almost had to do a factory reset. So those managers, the top managers, and I'm not saying Zidane will, but they can almost leave your club worse. Whereas I look at I look at Arteta, the Arteta types as, come to a club, build them up to a certain level where they tend to leave the clubs better than when they came. That's the minimum you could say for those sort of managers. You
could easily say that. I think the reason why I'm slightly against that is because I'm going from my own experience at Liverpool. Yeah. When Brendan Rodgers got us so close to the title, we thought, right, we're back. We missed out on City by 2 points. We're back. Next season is going to kick on. Next season, he had all the money. He sold Suarez for some said, he's our best player, but he went out and bought Lovren and Lallana. He bought all these players, good players, not great, good players. And you thought, you know what? Let's put our faith in him because he got us so close to the season before. But it's always harder. It's so much harder the following season to
doing it again.
Replicate what you've done when you've never been there. So Arteta now. And I feel for him because no matter Rice, Havertz, it's going to be so much more pressure and so much more harder. The other clubs are buying. Klopp's going to be back with Liverpool. United are going to be there running around. Even I don't think Chelsea and Tottenham will be around. There's still going to be pressure. Other clubs are buying. The pressure is so much on Arteta. I question, will he have the pressure? Yeah. He was under pressure last season.
He was,
this season, the pressure is going to be tense because now the expectation now is the title or Champions League. You've got to win it.
And the problem that he has this season, what I look at Arteta's trajectory as, first Arsenal fans, he was a novice. He wins the FA Cup. He's not bad. Then it goes from players hoping. We started hoping in him. Then we started believing last season, and now we started expecting. So because what's happened, I look at it like this: the team has probably raised higher than Arteta's. We rate the team higher than we probably rate Arteta as a manager. So we look at the team and we started believing, this team is good enough to win stuff. And it's the manager that might be holding its back. So when that starts to happen, it starts putting pressure on the manager. You know what I mean? Because
the manager is so pivotal. Yeah. Because if you look at again going back to, let's say, Klopp, for example, when he took over, we were 6th, 7th. And then when he took over, the season where we got a point behind City, we lost. And we was leading into the new year.
Yeah.
All fans got excited. When we lost by a point, gutted. What did he do? We won the Champions League.
Exactly. Yeah.
Following season, we go and win the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
So you look at it,
takes the pressure off.
That's the manager. The same squad. We didn't go and spend millions on the players. Yeah. The same squad. He might have made one addition, but it was practically the same squad that finished second in City. And the following season, we started after finishing a point behind City, where you think players are downhearted, managers downhearted. we went 25 games without losing a game in the start of the season, or 27 or 26 games without, we were looking at the Invincibles. Yeah. The season before, people said, they lost. Liverpool might be disheartened. It's taken a lot out of them losing a point to City. That was Klopp. That's all Klopp. That wasn't. It's a team, but that's all Klopp getting the mentality of the team. He tweaked the system a little bit, but he did that. Klopp did that, and we went on a run with 26 games, not undefeated. Title was ours.
Yeah. Well, even last season,
that's the manager.
Even the season before last, when you guys were on for the treble, you still walked away with 2 trophies. It's not a situation where you walked away with FA Cup and League Cup. So it wasn't a situation where he went trophyless and he said, and then the fans were still like, you still won stuff, and you're like, okay, cool, we've won stuff, and then we have to go forward and try and win more. But even
what he's done, that's never been done in history before. To play in every single game available to a club, that's never happened before. He played every final and the Premier League up to the end. Yeah. That's a feat in itself, and I look at that and think to myself, that's manager, because City's team, the depth and strength, City team, why are we 1 point behind them? They should have run away with the league, or at least be a clear gap. That's Klopp driving the team on. We beat City in the FA Cup semi-final when they had a better team. That's Klopp. The players respond to the manager, and the players all respond to Klopp.
And the closest thing I can remember is I remember Tottenham about 6, 7 years ago when Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen, Hong Min, Harry Kane, they're all firing, and they were a team that really could go do something. I think Tottenham on their day back then could beat anybody on their day, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Poch couldn't get them over the line. And I think before Mourinho took over, he probably looked at it as it was that Tottenham, but it was not that Tottenham he took over. He took over when Tottenham players were at the end. There was no Dembele, because you remember that Tottenham team had Dembele, Tongue, Aldo. And
they didn't back him in the transfer market. They needed to.
Yeah. And if they maybe a Mourinho or a top manager took over Tottenham, then they might have won something, because that 11 and that more or less 18 players, they could have won something. So yeah, I agree. You always want new managers to do well, but there is a part of it where we'll look back at the end of the season. If Arteta doesn't do anything, there was a moment where we could have gone out there and put some feelers out for managers, because I do think that this job is way more exciting to big managers than it would have been obviously a couple of years ago. I think if this Arsenal job opened up tomorrow with the finances and everything, I think a lot of managers will be in for this job.
Well, if you've got 200 million to spend, let's say at the end of last season, you know what? Let's say at the end of last season, you finished 3rd or 4th. So you got Champions League football, but it was a good season, but you finished 3rd or 4th. You got rid of Arteta because he didn't do anything, and you got Zidane. You gave him 200 million. The thing is, also players come to a club for the manager. So for example, when we convinced Mane to come, Mane didn't come for Liverpool. He came for Klopp. United wanted him. He came for Klopp.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
When you get players who want to play for a manager, your job is 3/4 done as a manager. So that player's already showing the passion. I want to play for you. I want to play for you. You don't need to motivate him. He's coming for you. Certain managers demand that. Pep's got that now.
Yeah.
Klopp's got that now. Ancelotti probably.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you're kind of struggling to say a player's going to say, no, I want to pay. I don't care about the club. I want to pay for that manager. You're not going to get that. And when you get a manager now where Pep now, I want to play for Pep. I want to play for Pep. I want to play for Klopp. I want to play for Klopp. These players are coming to Arteta. It will show this season coming now whether they're coming for Arteta or the club or the money. And that's where a lot of clubs have fallen. When, well, why haven't Chelsea done well? Well, it's
United as well. United as well.
United clearly.
Money.
But Chelsea, you're thinking, well, Chelsea, they won a title 4 years ago. Conte. Why haven't players are going for the money? They're not going for the club or the manager. They're going for what? They're going to pay me what? 200 grand? I'll sign the contract. And it's in London. I can live in London. They're actually thinking about the party life, living in London, the capital, 200 grand a week. The club and the manager is probably so far down on the list. But if you go to Liverpool, where you're thinking, well, it's not the capital, or you're going talking about Man City, Manchester, you're going, well, I'm going Manchester. You're going for the club and the manager, and that speaks volumes for a player. And if a player goes there, you're going to get so much more out of him than a player coming to the capital if he's not coming for the club or the manager, because he's coming then. Well, London is the attraction, money's the attraction, which is why Chelsea have really struggled with all the money they've had, with all the plays, 16 plays they've bought, and they're struggling because these guys are coming for the money and the London life. They're 21, they're 22. They're coming for the London life and the money. So they're struggling. So going back quickly to the question, Arteta, it's harsh to sack him, but I wouldn't have been, it does make sense to a degree. If they said to Zidane, "Are you?" If Zidane said, "Yes, I'm interested." As a board, I'm like, "But you?" He said, "No, I'm interested in this project. I believe that I like it. It's got a good system. The club's run well. I've got this money to spend. Good core players. I'm interested." Then you look to take him on, as opposed to him saying, "Oh, I'm not sure how much you're going to pay me," and you take him on.
It's true. Okay. So that's perfect, guys. Make sure you comment below what you think about that. You think Arteta should have been in your shot? Because I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans divided. Some fans just believe whoever the manager is, back him at the time. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that the best of when you're thinking about the club, you're thinking about what can your club win. You know what I'm saying? And you've got to think about the best. I do think I prefer, obviously, I'd like to give Arteta the shot, more or less. I think for 90% or compared to 90% managers, I'd give him the shot because I think there's a lot of managers like Tuchel. I really like Tuchel, but I wouldn't sack Arteta now to bring in Tuchel. But if he got sacked having a bad season, Tuchel, I would definitely think about bringing him in.
Yeah, I would as well.
But I think when you've got special cases like Zidane to me goes in the Klopp, Zidane, Guardiola. These are like special managers. Like, you know, there's certain managers where it's almost like it doesn't matter if Guardiola was manager of Tottenham. If he was good, I'd want him. You know what I mean? Because he's Guardiola. Like, he's a top manager. Even though he's rivaled you guys, if Klopp left tomorrow and Guardiola said he wanted to take over Man City, you wouldn't turn him down. He wouldn't turn him down. So I do think that. Exactly.
And I'm thinking, last point before I know we're going to go soon.
Yeah.
If Arteta doesn't, let's say October, they're off the pace and they're doing all right, but off the pace.
Yeah.
How much time would you give him with all the money spent in the with last season and the money spent?
When you say off the pace,
off the pace, like City are running away with it. Maybe Liverpool are ahead, and he's like off the pace of. And by the season starts in August, September, October. By the end of October, you're thinking.
I'm gonna say this clear. He would get sacked before. Let me put it this way: if in the Champions League, if he didn't qualify from the group stage, they'll sack him. I don't care who's in the group stage. I don't care. Unless we're first in the league at the moment.
No, but not the Champions League, because sometimes it's a bit forced. Because if you're going to get in a group that's got a bit of a...
I don't care. No, but my standards are high.
No, but the Premier League, 12 games have gone.
Yeah.
You've won 6, lost 3 or 4, and you've lost 3, and you've gone to... You're off the pace. You're like 8 or 9 points behind City and Liverpool, maybe, and you're like... When do you give him? When do you give him?
No. So what it is? It's called the Zidane window, isn't it? You know, Zidane. So you say yes, Zidane. Yes. No, but it's not just the figures. You got.
That's the point I was kind of going to come to. To say it's available. Yeah. How much time do you give Arteta after 10 games, 12 games? If he's not, because not in the top 2.
I don't like to sack managers just to sack managers. So if we can put it this way. If Arteta was third, just riding third, and there was no top manager that would take over, I'm not going to sack him to put in, what's called Brendan Rodgers for 6 months. It doesn't make sense to me. But what I will do is I'll start looking for a new manager. Because I prefer to sack a manager knowing, like, for instance, you guys sacked Thing, but I'm guessing Klopp was already in the conversation. That's why you waited a while.
Yeah, we knew Klopp. They already touted him.
Yeah, exactly.
In the summer. He then said he's on sabbatical, left it. Brendan Rodgers started. When Brendan Rodgers was failing, they contacted Klopp again. He said, I'm interested.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I believe. I believe it's about who you can bring in, because I think that, for instance, if you look at the social Ragnarok at Man United, that was a complete failure. They brought in a guy for 6 months. He didn't know what he was doing. So I don't really like caretaker managers. I'm not really a big fan unless the caretaker manager is a top manager that the fans will adapt to fast. So Benitez did a good job at Chelsea, for example, or Huddink at Chelsea. But also at Chelsea, I think that if you're going to have a part-time manager, But if a top manager said, I want the job, I'd sack him there clean. I wouldn't even waste no time. I'd be like, he's out, Zidane's in. Let's roll it quickly, guys. Roll it quickly. Because I do think that manager bounce is important, but I think that players would fix up. I've heard that players fix up when they hear about Zidane and those sort of managers. They don't mess around. You know what I mean? When Zidane walks in the building,
standard.
Yeah,
there's a certain level of respect. It sounds bad. There's a certain level of respect for some players who expectations are high, who will stand up to a manager when they come in. When Pep went into City, certain players took a bit of time, but they stood up. When Klopp went to Liverpool, they stand up. It's not we're not in a day in a day and age where back when Wenger went to Arsenal, they questioned his style and blah blah. Yeah. What's he doing? This day and age is different. If Carlo Ancelotti, as you said, Benitez went to Chelsea, and he steadied the ship. He won them the Europa League, qualified for Champions League, steadied the ship on his reputation. And then he comes into the room, and they're like, "Well, he's a serial winner, Champions League winner, Valencia. He won. He's a winner, and his reputation speaks for itself. So certain players will respond to that, and you're going to get that ultimately with Zidane. You know, as Zidane or someone is going to walk in the dressing room, and players are going to think like, "Oh, they're going to shut up, they'll listen."
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Arteta, I don't know if he's reached there yet.
Well, he's had.
Season,
If you watch he's had a lot of fights. A lot of players have not. So Aubameyang didn't respect him. That's part of the reason why Aubameyang went. Guendouzi, David Luiz. There was a lot of players. Yeah, he got rid of them because the board backed him. But he's had a lot of fallout with a lot of different players in the team.
But then it worked last season. Yeah, so that's why I said it worked. So he's got credit for that. Now this season. The first 12 games. Yeah. Boy.
Well, he's also got pressure from the board because before we go, obviously I'll speak about this, but what's happened is that Stan Kroenke owns several other teams, and he owns an NFL team that just won the Super Bowl. He owns an NBA team that won won the ring. And so he came out and he said, I've got one team that hasn't won yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's why his son is in, and his son's been the one helping the finance and working with Edu. So I think it's not just Arteta. Edu's under pressure as well. Because remember, if Arteta goes, Edu's gone, he's gone. They're not just going to keep everyone. So what's
interesting now, it's going to be funny that hearing AFTV and all the Arsenal fans about getting back. You got back to the fullest.
Exactly. We've been back.
You've been back to the fullest.
We've been back.
You're breaking the British transfer record.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Chelsea, United, and City, Liverpool.
Signing player. The Timber player, from what I know, is a very good player, and I remember him in my Ajax, but I don't watch him thoroughly. But I didn't think we'd get a player of that standard. I thought we were going to get no disrespect to Guy at Chelsea. I think he's a guy. I think he's a decent player, but I thought we were going to get a Chelsea, even though they quoted us 70 million. I thought we were going to go get a decent centre back from a mid-table club. Not really played in the Champions League, work on him, a Ben White type, and he'd just be in the team and rotate his way around. But we're getting this guy who's been excellent in the Ajax team, been excellent for his country, worked in the Champions League, and he's not coming here to be on the bench. From what Ferdinand was saying, Ferdinand said he wants to take Gabriel's place because it's unlikely he takes Saliba's place. So
it kept us still from him for the money compared to the Rice and Havertz. I think that's good money. 34 million, good money. The potential's there. I've seen clips on the YouTube because Liverpool were interested in him. About 2 weeks ago, we were interested in him.
And United
beat us to it. And United, but United, Arsenal got ahead. And I thought, I remember thinking, I hope Arsenal don't get him. I was keeping on down low, but you're gonna get him. But I thought to myself, 34 million. Yeah. You got a defender there. You got a defender there, and I think he'll start.
So quickly, to end, I just want to say, so I'm hearing obviously you guys have got centre mids and you talk about centre back. Do you guys not feel you need any sort of right backs or anyone to cover in that position? Or
no, he obviously doesn't think so because he's loaned Ramsey out to Aberdeen.
Yeah.
So that says to me that his intent is for Trent to be right back.
Yeah.
Because you buy somebody last season, 2 seasons ago. This season, I thought Ramsey would actually start more games and Trent could actually start as a midfielder. To loan him out to Aberdeen means I want Trent as a right back to just go into that role and buy 2 midfielders at minimum. Fine. That's why I said we need another centre back quality because Konate will get injured. He's guaranteed to get injured. Van Dijk, Gomez, and Matip is not in his prime. 3-4 years ago, fine, but he's not in his prime. So we need a centre back because when Konate gets injured, if he's playing with Trent at right back and Trent goes into the midfield role, we need a third cover. And Gomez isn't the answer, and neither is Matip. So we need another centre back to not necessarily start every game, but start a good few games because we're going to get injuries. Konate is going to get injured. And if we're relying on Gomez and Matip to form the partnership with Van Dijk when Trent goes into midfield, it's not going to work.
Okay.
So that's why we need a centre back, and I think if we don't get Lavia, our target's going to be a centre back before the season starts.
I can't think of too many centre backs at the moment because obviously that Kim Ming
Van der Ven.
Okay, Van der Ven. Okay, all right.
Now we said he's not going to Tottenham because he wants to go to Liverpool. Already, the club said, "Well, Tottenham meet if you buy the money." Tottenham said they don't have the money, but I think he's already signaling tennis. Liverpool are interested. I want to hold out for Liverpool.
Yeah.
If we don't get Lavia, I believe we might get him. And I've seen him on YouTube. He's quick, good defender, good on the ball. He played with Eric Ten Hag, good player. At the moment, he's the only defender I've seen that's available for a good price that can actually do a job.
Who's that young defensive mid that you guys played a few times this season? And I forgot his name.
Bajcetic.
Yeah, what's happening with him? Is he?
He was injured towards the end of last season. Again, he's coming back.
Yeah.
I always thought we don't need more than 2 midfielders. We need 2 midfielders.
Yeah.
At least one who's going to guarantee start, and two, and the second one to possibly start rival.
Yeah.
He's done that. If we get Southampton, it makes sense, but I'm not.
Because you've got that Bernardes guy, you've got Curtis Jones, you've got quite a few guys. Yeah.
Exactly. My priority would be a central defender, but I understand why Klopp wants this Southampton guy, because next season we probably won't get him. He's going to be City will have first dibs, and City will probably buy him because he's a perfect replacement for Rodri. So Klopp's thinking, I want this guy because next season we won't get him, and he's quality. I get it. If we get him, fine, I'm happy with it. If we don't get him and get a quality defender, I'm also happy. But I understand why Klopp wants him, because he showed signs last year. I've seen clips and I've seen the games when he came to Liverpool, when he played Arsenal in the big games. He stood out for Southampton. He stood out for them. He's a good player. 19.
Yeah. But
and you can get it for 35 million.
Yeah. So,
it's between Arsenal and Liverpool. You're going from as well.
Of course, yeah. Sorry to cut you off. Obviously, a great point, but it's towards the end of the show. It's going to run out, guys. Obviously, Uncle Steve's been great here. It's the football pull-up, guys. Make sure you like, share, comment. You know what I mean? If you want to see him again, comment. He'll definitely be back. We'll do Watch World Transfer News. We're going to follow the season, give some predictions of what we think is going to happen. It's been myself, King Jones. It's been Uncle Steve. See you later, guys.
You never walk alone.